Who are you? What are you? Why are you? How are you? I think that identity is one of the most difficult questions for somebody to answer, what their identity is, in our day and age anyways. You know, it's that question right up there with what is the meaning of life in terms of the complexity that it demands someone to think about seriously. And the definition of identity says something about, the qualities of one's personality or character that distinguishes them from somebody else. And that is accurate to a degree, but it's only taking an account of the surface level things of what make up a person and not the authentic nature or character of who we are as individuals. One of my mentors, a man by the name of Apostle Greg Crawford, he said something once along the lines of, you don't function to gain an identity, but you function from an identity. And today, with social media and just media in general, probably for the last maybe 100 years, people have, and maybe even longer, but I think it's become more of an epidemic as of late of trying to be what you see, all the images that influence us and the personalities who become our idols. Those become things that determine how we behave and what we do to try and become. And identity, when you're really flowing authentically from who you were designed to be, it comes from what you're purposed for. And so how I've come to understand my identity beyond just what I do, there's this interviewer on YouTube who's quite infamous for asking the question of who are you to people. His name's Jesse Lee Peterson, if you're familiar. And Jesse Lee Peterson, when he asks his guests this question, they'll always say, I'm a dad, or I'm a mom, I do this for work. It's always things that they do, technically correct answers, but he always restates the question, no, who are you? And he'll just keep drilling the answer, saying, no, those are things you do. Who are you, though? And I think it's a good question, but there's actually a way that I've come to understand, which is, knowing my purpose, how I was created, and it helps to have a faith background, because faith is the substance of things unseen, the substance of things hoped for, and evidence of things not seen. And I've got a lot of substance and evidence throughout my life regarding my purpose of why I was created, which is to please God, love God, serve Him. And if you ask my fellow brothers and sisters in the faith of the way, who follow the way of Christ, they will tell you that their identity is as the bride of Christ, or their identity is as a son or a daughter of God, or their identity is a priest or a priestess or a king or a queen in the kingdom of heaven. And those are all right and perfectly fine answers. I've always identified more so in the illustrations presented in the Bible of a laborer. a lot of parables about being a laborer. Adam started out in the garden stewarding the things that God had created, and being fruitful and multiplying them was what he was first commanded. And God walked with him through the gardens in his work. And so he was created with that purpose. And we're all created with a purpose. And once you know what your purpose is, that will help to inform your mission in life. And the mission will lead to tasks. And that's what I think we often mistake our mission and our task with a purpose. And so it's just zooming out a little bit. And my mom, she said something recently that stuck with me along these same lines of hearing from God that she is a nobody, trying to be somebody, willing to help anybody. And when she said that, that was kind of a confirmation in my heart, my spirit, that it's that same conceptualization reformed of having a purpose, a mission, and tasks. You know, there's the word says faith without works is dead. So you need to put your hand to the plow and not look back in hatred. You know, it's all got to be motivated by love. And that is the purpose. The purpose is love, and that should follow through with the rest of what you're doing. And it's important to know what your true identity is, because if you don't, when you come under pressure, you are more likely to crumble and to give up and not fulfill what it is that you were purposed and designed on this earth to do. You know, I think words have a huge effect on us for good and for bad. And people grow up being told that they are dumb, being told they have a bad work ethic, being told that they are less than, they're worthless. And people will begin to believe those lies. It's what they are. Or they'll hear things like, "Oh, you can do no wrong. Just believe in yourself. You be whoever you want to be." And these are all very vague and potentially misleading notions of what it means to pursue purposeful identity. So the next time somebody asks you who you are, you should start out by saying, I'm just nobody, but I have been put here to do this or that to fulfill the reason of my being here. And people will just understand that. I'm sure they won't ask any other questions after that, because they'll just think you're crazy. But it's okay to be a little crazy in today's world, because you look at some of the things that people think are normal, and we should never normalize confusion or identity crisis. And I think there is a big identity crisis in today's day and age, and people functioning, doing things to be somebody who they were never purposed or designed to be. And the only way that you can know that is to ask God when I say ask God, I'm not talking about some abstract idea of the universe or the your ancestors or frequencies in the air or some idea of the some subconscious, collective unconscious, but I'm talking about the real living God, Jesus Christ, who lived, died, and was born again as evidence of everything and that he came to preach, which was all about who we are outside of this realm and who we are in the spiritual realm and how that manifests and works together with this realm, because all things were created by him and for him. So if you want to know your true purpose, ask Jesus, and if you don't get an answer, keep asking. And if you don't get an answer, keep asking and keep pursuing and keep searching, because he is the way, he is the truth and the life, and none come to the Father except by him. And so as a follower of the way, that is what I have to say to you. And the world will be better because of you knowing your purpose. Because blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be known as children of God. Okay, one last thing. To try and get a better idea and understanding of your purpose and your identity, imagine yourself without any of the things that you own and without any of the things that you do or any of the people who are closest to you. You just imagine that bodily form and ask yourself, what is the meaning and purpose of that thing, that creature? Because that is truly who we are. We are these beings formed from dust, given breath in our lungs, and we're put in this place and in this time, and then ask why, for what reason. And I believe if you begin following that trail of questions, I think you will be led to the answers that I have just prior here spoken of. And that's what was on my heart today to share. And I hope that it helps somebody out there. If it's one person, great. Heaven rejoices over one. So seek the Lord, and he will give you rest.